Good evening, this is Dorcas. This is Reverend Dorcas Sarudzai Mudzwa Kujinga. A very good evening, viewers. In the book of Revelation, the apocalyptic hopes of the early Christian community find their clearest and most complete expression. Apocalypticism was not a new phenomenon among Christians. It was a well-established belief among Jews who held that the coming of the kingdom of God would not be brought about by a gradual transformation, but by a sudden intervention when God would end the present age and establish his kingdom in the world made new. This conception of coming events is associated with the belief that prior to this future time, the struggle between the forces of good and evil will become more intense. As the evil powers grow, they will inflict persecution and, in some instances, even death upon those who follow a course of righteousness. The struggle will eventually reach a climax, at which time God will intervene. He will. He will intervene, destroy the forces of evil, and set up a new order in which the righteous will live for all time to come. The appearance of the Messiah will coincide with the coming of these events. As time passed, many Christians, especially those who were suffering persecution at the hands of colonial governments, because deeply concerned about how long it would be before these events would take place. However, that as it may, Christ warns Christians to expect that their persecution will be even more severe in the immediate future. Nevertheless, they are to remain faithful. We are to remain faithful and regard these afflictions as tests of their character. Those who remain loyal will be delivered from the hands of their enemies. And in the new order of things soon to be established, and the assurance that the new order will last forever, the persecution that are now taking place currently will last for only a short time. For the hour of God's judgment is close at hand. The great catastrophic events that bring an end to all the kingdoms of earth will also be the occasion for the return of Christ on the clouds of heaven, as was written by John at the island of Patmos. As Christ approaches the earth, the wicked people will be slain by the brightness of his coming. In this heavenly abode, neither sorrow nor crying will exist, for God will wipe away all tears, and there will be no more death. The Revelation of John is the one book in the New Testament that claims John as its author. By the time the writings that now included in the New Testament were assembled in their present form. 3 letters and 1 gospel were also attributed to John. But in the case of these writings, the name of the supposed author was added at a later date, and their respective contents indicate that they were not written by the same John we know who wrote Revelation, John the Beloved. The book of Revelation often has been regarded as a mysterious book, quite beyond the comprehension of the average lay reader. Its many references to angelic beings, its elaborate description of Christ as he appears, use of such mystic numbers as 3, 7, 12, and their multiples. The accounts of strange beasts, symbolic names, and definite time periods all suggest some hidden and historic meaning that supposedly can be detected only by an expert. For these reasons, many people have ignored the book, feeling that any attempt to understand it is futile. It's not. Other people have taken an opposite attitude and have found in this book what they believe to be predictions of whole series of events, many of which have already occurred, and the remainder of which are about to take place and are taking place in the near future. The basis for these views, many of which sound strange and fantastic, is found in the elaborate symbolism used in the book. The use of symbols is an important place in religious literature, for there is no other way in which a person can talk or even think about that which is beyond the realm of infinite human experience. But there is always a danger that the symbols may be interpreted in a way that was not intended by the author, who used them only in regard to the content in which the symbols are used. Can we determine what the author meant? Today, let us take this book seriously, as events are erupting with no end. Demonic altars are being watched closely and will be banished in no time. Let those who believe in these altars listen carefully, for their end cannot be defended. Those wielding politics as a means to remain in rulership, those enjoying effects of xenophobia, the wrath of the Lord can be seen in his fury. Believers, continue to intercede, for the hour is near. Continue to intercede, for the hour is near. But remember what Daniel said in chapter 2. What did he say? He said, he changes in chapter 2, verse 21. He changes the times and seasons. He removes kings and establishes them. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, The secret which the king has demanded cannot the wise men demanded, which the wise men could not interpret. The astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king. But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets and maketh known to his people, the creator of heaven and earth. Brethren, let us abide the precepts. Let us abide by his word. Those who stick to his word will be left outside the calamities. Let those who believe in idols look at what is happening now in Malawi, Mozambique, Chimanimani, Chipinge, part of South Africa. These are the end times. We should be very careful. We should hold on to the Bible, hold on in reality to what it says and what it means. Thank you very much. Good evening.